Most people will never be financially free, not because they earn too little, but because they are chasing the wrong target entirely. They have been handed a definition of freedom that was designed to make sure they never find it. And almost nobody talks about this. This is the wealth code. Today we answer one question: what does financial freedom actually mean, and why is the version in your head making you poorer by the day? In 2023, a Schwab survey found that the average American believes you need $2.2 million to be considered financially comfortable. Not wealthy. Comfortable. That number has gone up by 20% in 2 years. Meanwhile, real wages have barely moved. Here is what that means in practice: millions of people have a finish line that is sprinting away from them faster than they can run. So they stop running. They tell themselves they will start investing when they earn more. They will start saving when life settles down. They will figure out the plan later. Later never comes. And the $2.2 million myth is a large part of why. Financial freedom has nothing to do with how much money you have. Nothing. Zero. The number in your bank account is almost irrelevant. Financial freedom is a ratio. It is the precise point at which your passive income exceeds your monthly expenses. That is the entire definition. One number divided by another. If your expenses are $3,000 a month, and your passive income is $3,001 a month, you are financially free. Technically, mathematically, functionally free. You do not need $2.2 million. You need to know your number. And most people have never once sat down to calculate it. There is even a formula for this, and it is called your financial independence number. You take your annual expenses, and you multiply them by 25. That is it. If you spend $36,000 a year, your number is $900,000. Not $2.2 million. $900,000. That gap, between what people think they need and what they actually need, is where dreams go to die. So why do people overshoot so dramatically? Why does almost everyone, when asked, pull a number out of thin air that is 2, 3, 5 times larger than what the math actually requires? This comes down to a concept called reference group theory, developed by sociologist Robert Merton in the 1950s. We do not measure our success against an objective standard. We measure it against whoever is just above us in our social world. And the problem is, our reference group has never been larger or more visible. Social media means you are not comparing yourself to your neighbor. You are comparing yourself to the curated highlights of 10,000 strangers. Dr. Thomas Gilovich at Cornell ran a series of studies showing that people dramatically overestimate how much others notice their status symbols, their car, their house, their watch. He called it the spotlight effect. We believe we are always on stage. And when you believe you are always on stage, you inflate the number you need to feel safe. Because the goal stops being freedom. It becomes performance. There is also a second force at work here, what psychologist Daniel Kahneman identified as loss aversion. We feel losses approximately twice as intensely as equivalent gains. So the idea of starting to invest, and potentially losing money early on, feels catastrophically dangerous. More dangerous than it actually is. People delay. They wait for certainty that never arrives. And underneath all of this sits what behavioral economists call the arrival fallacy, the deep, largely unconscious belief that once you hit the big number, everything will feel different. Everything will feel safe. Research by Tal Ben-Shahar and others consistently shows it will not. The goalpost moves. It always moves. Now, this is where it gets uncomfortable. Because this confusion is not accidental. The financial services industry, in the United States alone, manages over $30 trillion in assets. Their revenue depends on you believing that you need more. More products. More complexity. More managed accounts. More time under their guidance. A simple ratio, passive income over expenses, does not sell mutual fund packages. It does not justify advisory fees. It does not require a financial advisor charging 1% of assets annually. The entire architecture of financial media reinforces a specific story. The story is this: wealth is for certain kinds of people. It requires special knowledge. It is complicated. You need help. You are not ready yet. Consumer culture runs the same play from the other direction. Lifestyle inflation is not accidental, it is engineered. Every upgrade to your phone, your car, your apartment, it raises your monthly expenses. And every time your expenses rise, your financial independence number rises with it. You earn more, and you need more to be free. The treadmill speeds up. You run faster. You never step off. Who benefits from you staying on that treadmill? Every company that sells you a subscription, a status symbol, an upgrade. Every institution that profits from your debt. Every platform that monetizes your anxiety about falling behind. This is not a conspiracy. It is just incentives. But understanding whose incentives are in play, that changes everything. Here is what I have observed, and what the research consistently confirms, about people who actually reach financial freedom. And this is not about inheriting money. Many of the most striking cases involve people on ordinary incomes. First, they calculate before they dream. Before any vision board, before any motivational content, they sit down and calculate their actual number. They know their monthly expenses to the dollar. They know exactly what passive income they need. The goal is concrete before the strategy begins. Second, they are obsessive about the gap between income and expenses, not about income alone. Most people focus on earning more. Financially free people focus on widening the gap, because the gap is the only thing that can be invested. A dollar saved is worth more than a dollar earned, because a dollar earned gets taxed first. Third, and this one is genuinely counterintuitive, they resist lifestyle inflation with almost irrational discipline during the accumulation phase. They drive older cars longer. They stay in smaller homes. Not because they are cheap, because they understand that every unnecessary expense increase extends their working years. Fourth, they buy assets before they buy experiences. This is not about deprivation. It is about sequencing. Once passive income exceeds expenses, then the experiences. In the right order, this is abundance. In the wrong order, it is a trap. And fifth, they redefine what freedom looks like. They do not need to retire in a villa in the south of France. They need enough passive income to cover a life they have consciously chosen, not a life they drifted into. So how do you actually do this? Not theoretically, practically. Here are 4 steps that matter. Step 1, calculate your real number today. Open a spreadsheet. Add up every dollar you spend in a month. Multiply your annual spending by 25. That is your financial independence number. Write it down. Make it real. This single act separates you from 90% of people. Step 2, audit your lifestyle for engineered inflation. Go through your bank statements from the last 3 months. Identify every recurring expense that is about status or habit rather than genuine satisfaction. Cancel 2. Just 2. That money, redirected into index funds over 20 years, changes the math significantly. Step 3. Start before you are ready. This is the hardest one. Because the psychological pull toward waiting for the perfect moment is overwhelming. But compound interest is ruthlessly time-dependent. $1,000 invested at 25 is worth more than $5,000 invested at 45. The math is not kind to patience. Open an account. Put in something. It does not matter if it is $100. What matters is that you have broken the psychological barrier, the story that you are not someone who does this yet. You are. Now you are. Step 4. Rewrite your reference group. This is psychological surgery and it matters enormously. Deliberately reduce your exposure to lifestyle content, cars, houses, vacations, things, and increase your exposure to people and ideas that normalize building quietly. Your reference group shapes your definition of enough. Change the reference group, and you change the target. Financial freedom is not a number you accumulate, it is a ratio you engineer, and the gap between what you believe you need and what the math actually requires is the most expensive mistake most people will ever make. Here is what I want to leave you with. The version of financial freedom you have been sold, the yacht, the retirement at 65, the magic number you cannot quite reach, that version exists to keep you spending and doubting and waiting. The real version is quieter. It is a spreadsheet. It is a ratio. It is a decision to stop inflating your life faster than you can invest your income. On this channel, The Wealth Code, we go here every single day. The psychology, the systems, the specific behaviors that separate people who quietly build wealth from people who just talk about it. If this shifted something for you, subscribe, because tomorrow we go even deeper. And if you want to take this further right now, watch our video on the psychology of why people stay broke even on high incomes. Because what you just learned here only gets sharper from there.